What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, good evening, everybody. There's DeArah. I had the spotlight on her because she was doing her famous DeArah dance. And we're going to see and talk to DeArah and catch up with her a little bit later on in the show. So welcome back, DeArah. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm coming to you from just outside Sedona, Arizona, at a beautiful retreat site called Shiloh. And it's beautiful to be here. And we've got a really, really special show tonight. We've got with us coming back Sylvie, who is with Love Thy Nature. And we're going to learn all about a new opportunity she's providing about revitalizing our purpose. So we're going to be having a great chat with Sylvie in just a few minutes. So we're excited about that. And Larissa Stowe, whose home I am in, will be sitting right next to me a little bit later on in the show. And we also have an amazing musical artist. You haven't seen them on the show for a while, but I'm grateful that they're back. Mystical Joyride are here. We love this duo. It's amazing that these two people can make as much music as they make, and it's beautiful and gorgeous. We're going to have a good chat with them, and they're going to bless us with a pair of songs. And speaking of music, our wonderful house musical artist, Omashar, is with us. We love him, and he's going to get us off to a great start.
Yes, welcome. And as it gets closer to that Christmas Day, I feel the spirit rising. And I'm so grateful to have the guests we have tonight, but also Mystical Joyride, because they are totally unique. And we all kind of, it's not like plagiarism, but we all, musicians, I think, and all artistic people, we all learn from each other and get to polish and hone our craft. And so I'm really grateful that they're on tonight, because I get to see what they do in more detail and maybe hone my craft as a result. So welcome everybody on YouTube and Facebook and our streaming partners, Humanities Team and Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel, etc. And so let's get into the true ones, which is this. Breathing free again. I love the air we breathe. And as as we fly again, I love the sacred sky. Now we are whole again. I love the way we've changed, with open hearts again. I love the love we are. We are rising, there's no disguising the truth of who we are. When our hearts connected again, now we are the stars. And as we walk again, we know the sacred earth. And as we see again, to ourselves we give birth. And as we feel again, our boundaries resolve, and free to love again, right from the heart of one. We are rising, there's no disguising the truth of who we are. With our hearts connected again, now we are the stars. And now that we are home, and all is said and done, light can find its way through all the true ones, and broken hearts resolve into the sum of life, and the song of life will now be heard by all. We are rising, there's no disguising the truth of who we are. With our hearts connected again, now we are the stars. Now we are the stars.
Let's all give a big twinkle to beloved Omashar, and Eleanor Joy can go back to eating. I have to admit, there were a few times that she was just about to take a bite, and I put the spotlight on her, and I wanted to go.
It's
You know.
a secret trick of mine. Is like if you want to engage someone in a conversation, wait for them to take the first bite and then ask them a question. So
Yeah. So I have to admit, we had a little dance going on there. So if you don't mind. Hey, I want to remind everybody, while it's on my mind, that Omashar has 5 children. And they're these little wonderful CDs filled with his beautiful music. And it's so good to listen to Omar Shah all throughout the week. Of course, it's great to have him on Wednesday and Saturday nights, but you can bring him home with you. You can bring home his children. And you do that by going to omarshar.bandcamp.com. omarshar.bandcamp.com. And every one of these albums is filled with just wonderful Omar Shah music. So let's support Omar Shah and support ourselves, because he raises our vibration. And listening to his music, just as you experience on the show, same when you listen to the CDs, it raises our vibration. And that's what we need to create an awakening world. So thank you, beloved Omar Shah. And he will, of course, be back. Unless I put the spotlight on him when I never see him eating, though. If you snack during the show, you must turn your
I sometimes do. It's just when I'm doing a tofurkey, I have to get the grease off my face. So
all right. Well, it is time to introduce our first guest. And she's been on, I think, a couple times now. And I'm talking about Sylvie. And she is extraordinary. She was originally born in Egypt, born in Rio, raised
in Rio. In Rio, Brazil, and my parents were born in Egypt.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. I saw the French and Italian Egyptian-born parents. Got it. Anyway, her parents right away encouraged her to love nature. And at an early age, Sylvie was just devastated by the rapid destruction of our beautiful blue-green planet. And so as a young adult, she made it her mission to inspire people to transform their relationship with the natural world. And boy, has she done a wonderful job. She's a certified mindfulness teacher, a forest bathing guide, an Emmy-nominated filmmaker, and her movie's been seen in theaters, digital platforms, all over television, PBS, HBO, Discovery. And her films reveal inspiring stories of transformation. We, of course, promoted her last film, Love Thy Nature, which earned 27 awards, had over 300 screenings all over the world. So it's great to have you back, because you got something else wonderful that you're doing. But before we talk about the new project, tell us a little bit more about your experience of Love Thy Nature, and how it went for you.
In terms of the movie itself, it was an incredible journey. I actually ended up moving. I used to live in South Florida, but I knew I had to be in Los Angeles for this one. I had already been a filmmaker for a long time, but came to Los Angeles, and right after we started fundraising, the economy came crashing down. And what I'll tell you about the story that most impacted me was that as things were still very difficult financially and fundraising wise or whatever, I had a dream very early morning. When you're kind of like half asleep, half awake. And I had a dream that my sister-in-law at the time, who was a yoga teacher, that there was a scene of the movie if and when I were to ever pick it up again, there was a scene of the movie of her swimming in a natural pool in the rainforest. And like that same morning, 2-3 hours later, I check my inbox, and it's the first email I ever got from her about like offering a retreat. And there was a picture of her in a natural pool. I was so blown away. She ended up being the woman who is on the Love Thy Nature movie poster. Where Mother Earth is birthing the human. And she has this beautiful androgynous kind of look to her, multiracial and all that. So, I mean, there's so many stories I could tell you all that this one is the one that emerged for me right now. But anything more specific you want to know, Scott, be my guest.
Well, what's always wonderful to know is, how did the movie impact someone? Like, is there a story you can share of someone that this movie changed besides yourself?
There are quite a few. I think there were 3 incidents that were the most striking to me. One of them was a family, like, dad and mom and three kids who are at the theater. And they came to speak with me, and the dad, he couldn't talk because his tears were rolling down his cheeks. And so I assume his partner, wife, or whatever, she basically said the movie touched us so deeply that we realized we need to start going out into nature, wilderness, like regularly. So that was one story. There's another story of a young man who was volunteering at the movie theater, and he left at the end because the end can be very moving for people, because it's really kind of like, of course, a story of Homo sapiens and the journey that we need to go through in terms of deepening connection in every way with our inner and outer nature so that we can heal ourselves and our world. And it's told by the voice of Homo sapiens that Liam Neeson narrated. I was honored to have him say yes to narrating the film. And I mean, his voice is so amazing that it's like I thought his voice came to mind over and over again when I was contemplating who to have as Homo sapiens. And so anyway, yeah, and then a story of a little 13-year-old that was very shy at a movie theater in Greece. I'm sorry, there were like more than 300 kids, and this kid was being teased because he was very shy, but he had a question, and the question was, "Why did you make this movie?" And I looked at him and I perceived that he kind of intuited the answer. And I insisted, "Why don't you tell me? You know intuitively why I made this film. Can you share with us?" And he said, very quietly with a low voice and everything, "Is it to show us the magic of nature?" And the whole theater with 300 kids just burst in laughter and cheers. It was like really, the culture, Greek culture, like the Italian culture, we tend to be very out there in terms of expression, right? So that's what ended up happening. It was really delightful.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
There's a question that just came in from Dr. Laura for you. She writes, is there a story about Love Thy Nature or any of the animals who showed up during the filming of the movie that appeared to be miraculous or spirit sent?
Wow.
Good question.
Amazing question. Well, besides the story I shared about, Dani, my brother's ex-wife, coming to me in dreams, and 3 hours later, I have an email from her with the image that was in my dream. That to me was pretty miraculous. The experience of the relationship when we were in Africa for the shots of the, large mammals, the relationships in the society of giraffes blew me away. Like, first of all, they're very close knit, and you can tell like different personalities and engagement when we were there for like days, and so we were really observing how they behave with each other. And one of the things that was just so heartwarming to me was that some adolescent giraffes came our way. They were starting to feel more comfortable because we had been there hanging for a while. And then the parents, I assume are the parents or perhaps the aunts and uncles, who knows, but they lovingly enveloped these teenagers away from us as if to say, feel free to be curious, feel free to play, but not so close. It was just so heartwarming. Anyway, so I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So there's a few comments that I want to read to you and from our audience. We've got a pair of Susans, and Susan Bloomquist writes, I have enjoyed the Nature Summit interviews very much. We love stories about these things.
Yeah.
And then another Susan who's with us, Susan Woolridge, who you saw dancing, writes, hey, Sylvie, we met at the Bioneers years ago.
Oh, that's right, Susan. I remember that. I saw your name. Yeah, I never forgot.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
that's
Well,
amazing. This was like 15 years ago or something. Time really flies, but yeah, I was delighted to see you on the call, Susan. And to the other Susan, I'm so glad you got to watch the Heart of Nature Summit. We really put a lot of heart into it, and we're blessed to have people like Marianne Williamson and Jane Fonda and Tara Brock and so many other people. So yeah, it was really an amazing project from the heart. This was
You
at the
had a
beginning of this year, 2024.
you had a great lineup. A few more comments I want to read to you. Shoshana writes, Sylvie, you have a beautiful energy, and I see whales singing around you.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Gosh, I feel honored. That's beautiful.
DeArah writes, Sylvie, yes, the children and their innocent love of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then comments about Carol and about Cornflower. A lot of us were on the Cornflower concert last night. And then finally, Susan Blomquist says the interviews were stellar. So lots of appreciation for your last big project. And now we get to turn our attention to your new project.
Right.
I'm going to briefly go to the website, and it's called Revitalize Your Purpose. I'm going to put into the chat box for our Zoom roomers the information on it, but it's a free webinar taking place on Thursday, January 9th at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. It's free. You can register for free. Start your new year attuned to your deepest calling. In this free 1-hour webinar, you'll realign with what matters most and set the tone for a mindful, intentional start to your year. So, more and more our global peace drivers are all kind of doing things together. Like last night, quite a few of us were all on the Cornflower concert. Cornflower is a wonderful musical artist, and Jerry was there. I'm not going to name everybody who was there because half of the people in the audience now were there. But it's wonderful how we come together now and participate in things. And we're definitely going to want to participate in this new event. So tell us a little bit more about what's going to.
Sure. For one thing, I just want to share very briefly, like a personal story, is the sense that in several stages of my life, the times that I felt most fulfilled were the times that I felt I was on purpose and that I was really being driven by a force that was bigger than myself, and yet doing it through opening my heart to what was really inspiring. And, given the challenging state of affairs that we're living in, I mean, around the world and specifically here in the United States with the political divisions and the pain that's been around the elections, and also, most importantly, in our own personal lives, we're so bombarded with information and all kinds of sort of like forces trying to take a piece of our attention. And when we realize it, I know even for myself, being a meditator, mindfulness teacher, I still have to work at not letting myself be like split in a million different directions. So why is that related to purpose? Is because, I mean, really, anyone who feels on purpose, they can say that there's something that really drives them. And it's a force that is powerfully transformational for oneself, but also for the work that we do in the world. Because, there's a beautiful quote by Howard Thurman that says, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive." Because what the world most need is for more people to come alive. And so, yes, of course, there's a drive that comes from within, and there's a need of the world for whatever it is that your passion might be. And so, with the turn of the year and the state of affairs and the craziness of our minds exploding in a million different directions, I felt really called to do something on purpose. It's like my purpose is something on purpose. It's kind of like a double whammy. But I really feel that it has, this is by the way, it's a workshop that I've been teaching at Esalen for many years now. And yeah, I am really, to me, it's incredibly moving to see how people can really find their bliss by realizing certain simple practices.
I'm going to put myself on camera to chat with you because I love this, what we're talking about right now. My mentor, Sylvie, my primary mentor was Marshall Rosenberg. And
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
yeah, and I had
Nonviolent communication.
we were very blessed to become good friends. I traveled with him. I made films and videos with him. We were quite close. And my Marshall quote is that the greatest joy in life is being of service to others.
Yeah.
And since then, I've kind of added, and the greatest tragedy in life is not knowing it, right? When we have learned that being of service is what feels really good.
Yeah.
And when we have learned how to allow spirit to inform us, when we've learned how to trust that voice or to trust spirit's guidance and direction, to let spirit, whatever you want to call it, God, higher self, the universe, life, whatever you want to call it,
Nature.
the hand that guides us, that's when life is wonderful. That's when life is wonderful. And so I'm getting a sense as I hear you talk, and I kind of get a feeling for what I think you're going to be providing. It's going to be helping people at the beginning of this new year, which has been prophesized to be a very turbulent, powerful, and important year in human history. To be in that alignment, to be in that divine alignment. Am I catching that correctly?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the beautiful thing about this too is the realization that when we connect with our passion and we get to realize how we're serving others, and others, I say it in a very broad way, others could be also animal beings or insect beings, pollinators, mountains and rivers, right? So serving the world, serving our sense of belonging. So there is not only a tremendous inner satisfaction, but there's also the ability to really promote change, because again, doing things from a place of passion, whatever is burning in your heart, your way of serving the world is incredibly needed. And we don't think of it that way many times, but the ripple effect can be really powerful.
Beautiful. I'm going to read a few comments that have come in. Jeffrey and Sonia write, heaven is not a place, but an inward state of consciousness. It's inward awareness of divine harmony and truth. We create heaven right here and send it out into the field.
Jeffrey and Sonia, you really got it. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Quantum physics is showing that. Systems theory is showing that. Hello. Love it. Love your dancing too, by the way.
Jeffrey is always one of our primary dancers. He and Jerry and anyway, I don't want to go into all the names. I appreciate all the people that dance. Also, just a few other comments that have come in because I really want to include. And today is called Conversations with Cool People. I kind of changed the name, and all of you are cool people, right? This is Conversations with Cool People. So I'm going to read some of the comments coming in today. And welcome to Sylvia, one of our dear friends. Sylvia has been in the hospital, so it's good to have you with us, Sylvia. And Shoshana writes, I have found through my work with the Nature Kingdom, through children's books and music that she's written or received, that there's a connection with nature and soul purpose. I've discovered that when we're alive in our connection to nature, we can more easily tune into our soul purpose and experience our heart song of service as part of the collaborative symphony of the song of unity, helping to call in the new earth. Beautiful.
Wow. Shauna, you should be teaching this with me because it's a lot of what we'll be talking about. Totally. Nature, I mean,
Total
Mother
alignment.
Nature.
With what
Yeah.
you're doing, what I've been finding.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing this. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. And we also had a comment from Dr. Laura when I had mentioned about 2025 being prophesized to be powerful and challenging. Dr. Laura reminds us that 2025 is also going to be when we see the shoots of the new earth popping up everywhere. Absolutely, Dr. Laura.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's envision that for sure.
So, is there more that people need to know about your program?
One thing that I want to share is that for people who would like to take a deeper dive, there's a course that comes after the program. So the webinar, the free webinar is on January 9th, and it's really focused on revitalizing your purpose. The course is igniting your natural power, which is more encompassing how to deeply arrive into presence, dip into big mystery practices that can really bring more ease and also help with relationships, nonviolent communication being a part of that, and of course, purpose with other elements of purpose coming to life. And also how to have discipline, right? The idea of discipline, because discipline can have such a negative connotation, right? But starting the year with a sense of aligning with what gives us bliss and joy and purpose, and aligning that with routines that really serve that step-to-step powerful motivation that can lead to, right, 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So yeah, so there's this program that starts on January 30th. And if you just want to attend the webinar and you feel satisfied, beautiful. Come, it's free. It's, my offering, and it's going to be really fun. I love doing this and connecting with other people online and going on chat and all of that. And for those of you who are ready for a deeper dive, yeah, January 30th, and it's only 6 sessions. So, and you can find that information. I know that you, Scott, will be sending the link.
Yep.
And with the link, you have access to the website, and you can see also the course if you're interested. So yeah, very, very delighted to be offering this.
Well, I definitely plan on doing this. And one more time for everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you go to lovethinature.com / and then you'll see free webinar, Revitalize Your Purpose. And the link that I've put into the Zoom room is what all of our Zoom roomers and Global Peace Tribers should use. And I'll also include that in the email that I send out on Monday with the recording of tonight's show. And also just to encourage everybody, scroll all the way down and make sure you right here put in your name, which I'm doing right now, although I think she's already got me.
Beautiful.
But let's all put in our name and our email address so that she can keep us up to date with what she's doing.
Yeah, also I'd love to share things like in my newsletters, they're usually a stream of consciousness. So if nothing else, it's like every couple of months I send one, and yeah, feel free to get the juicy stuff.
Sylvie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you
I'm
so much
sure
for the
Carol
invite.
Craig has just signed up. So I've signed up, Carol has signed up, and I'm imagining a lot of our other Global Peace Tribers are going to sign up. And are you going to be able to stay with us for a while?
Yes, I'll be here the whole show.
Fabulous. Okay, well, we'll come back to you towards the end then.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
we are in for a treat, Sylvie, because mystical Joyride is with us. And I love these two people. They're beautiful. I had the good fortune to be with them at a Soul Play event. And there they are, getting all set up. You're still muted.
There we go.
There we go.
Hey, you sound great. Hello, beautiful ones.
Hello.
Thanks for having us, Scott. Great to see you again.
I was so happy because I know you guys are usually busy, but you had a Saturday night free, and I grabbed it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
We grabbed you.
we grabbed each other.
Yes.
So tell us, what have you been up to? Tell us a little bit about your life.
Uh, well, we have a 2-year-old daughter we're juggling. And but with music, we've started going live on TikToks. Like
Oh,
that's like
wow.
a valid form of the business these days. You got to go live on TikTok and show the world that people like what you do. So we've been going on there and building up our following and having a lot of fun doing that. It's part of why this corner is set up and ready to go.
Great.
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've released a number of projects. We released since we last talked to you, we released a bunch of singles and a full album called House Magic this summer. And yeah, we're just always doing something. We got more music on the way. We got our own solo projects. We're just always pumping out the hits, man.
Beautiful. Well, I want to let people know right off the bat, because you're going to love their music. So to learn more, go to the website, which is the name, mysticaljoyride.com. And it's a really fun website, and that's where you can find all things Mystical Joyride, their upcoming shows, their events, their live streaming on TikTok, and just definitely subscribe so that you can get. And they've even got a really fun video, Santa Do Me. So definitely, they've got other videos there, mysticaljoyride.com. And most of all, they've got something for us live right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who celebrate Christmas, or if you don't, that's totally okay. Because we're going to give you a little a dose of some sacred silliness, if you will. And because this is a little different type of Christmas story. You may not have heard this one before, but it goes like this. Ho, 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 ho. It's a psychedelic Christmas story. Ho, 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 ho. It's a psychedelic Christmas story.
Hey!
Santa was a mushroom shaman riding on his sleigh, handing out to all the girls and boys who want to play. Drop them down your chimney tops when you're all snowed in, so you can feel the Christmas spirit. Have yourself a grin. Oh, ho, 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 ho. How do you think those reindeers fly?
Ho, 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 ho.
Underneath the pine trees you'll find Amanita muscaria, hang them out to dry like ornaments on your Christmas tree. Let's eat a couple and fly. Red and white like Santa's clothes, red and white like Rudolph's nose. Sacred mushrooms get us close, visions under mistletoe. Give thanks for gifts of life, Yuletide and inner sight, so we can be reborn and bring us back to life. To life. Hey. Ho, 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 ho. It's the psychedelic Christmas story. Ho, 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 ho. It's the psychedelic Christmas story. Bags of mushrooms drying in socks atop the fire. Those reindeer getting higher and higher. Oh.
Thank you, Santa, for making this Christmas sacred. Thank you, Santa, for bringing us back to life.
I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's all give a big twinkle. That was awesome.
Yay!
That was absolutely awesome. Wow.
That's an original Christmas song we had to
Yes.
come up with. We've been hearing this. There's actually, if you look it up on the internet, there's plenty of other information on the psychedelic Christmas story. There's some fun little cartoons on YouTube you can watch, but it's worth noting that the Amanita mushroom is red and white, and there's Siberian. There's lots of Siberian stuff going on. Anyways, just some food for thought, you know?
So Santa is actually dressed like a sacred mushroom.
So I'm going to actually take what you've done and turn it into a very spontaneous global peace tribe experience.
All right.
I want to invite any of our viewers to share a psychedelic holiday story. And I will lead the charge by sharing a story that I've never shared on this show before.
All right.
So my birthday happens to be on Christmas Day. And one of the things that my mother would always do is she would always call me, or I would call her, at 3:19 in the afternoon, which is when I was born. And she'd wish me happy birthday. Well, there was one year, this probably 25 years ago, and I was in Maui on my birthday and on Christmas with my girlfriend at the time. And we took LSD, we took acid. And I'm totally tripping on acid. And the phone rings at 3:19. Of course, it's my mom calling. But not only was it mom calling, but for whatever reason, she felt inspired to act out my birth. And she literally is acting out all the parts of her giving birth and my father and the doctor and the people. And I'm completely peaking on acid as my mother is reenacting my birth for me. I haven't thought of that in ages. But when I thought of a psychedelic Christmas, I thought, boy, I sure had a psychedelic Christmas one time. So thank you for giving me the inspiration to share this story.
That is an amazing story. Wow.
That is.
So I'm going to open it up to any other psychedelic Christmas stories that come in. Dr. Laura.
Before we go psychedelic, Scott, Mystical Joyride, just check your original sound is on. I think it defaulted off during your song. And because every time you change source, mic source, it defaults back to off. So you need to re-change it. But it was your backing track was only working when you were singing, which is showing that the clipping is coming in and out.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So I'm going to, if it happens in the next song, I'm going to stop you because you want to get the full you without the without the gate. Anyway, apart from that, that was my psychedelic experience, and I'm not even tripping. So next.
Now come on, Omar Shar, you've got to have a psychedelic experience.
No,
psychedelic holiday experience.
Mine are in the vault. As long as my mum's not watching, I'm going to. I did have an experience with mushrooms because in England there's this. Every year in cricket fields, not in cow poop, grow psilocybin mushrooms. And you get just around October when the first fog comes, the mushrooms come up and you get 1,000 hippies run out to the fields and the cricket fields pick up the mushrooms. And then behind them is a farmer with a tractor with a mower on the back going, "Get off my fields, you bloody hippies," mowing it down as quickly as it arises. But anyway, long story short, I did have some one time. This is another me, not me. And I was similar to Scott's, actually. I was lying on the floor with my girlfriend at the time. And for some reason, everything she thought I spoke, or at least it seemed like that, and everything I spoke, everything I thought would come out of her mouth. And it freaked me out so much that I ran home to my mother, who was asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. "Mom, save me." And of course, it didn't work. But anyway, that's as far as I'm going down this rabbit hole. So next person. Jeffrey and Sonia, I know it's you.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you guys for inspiring these stories. I'll share a couple more quick stories and then we'll move on. Dr. Laura writes, "One night I enjoyed an entire Grateful Dead concert on LSD from the parking lot, which was a huge bazaar. We had tickets to go into the stadium to see the concert, but we just never made it. It was so fun." Well, there you go. Susan S. writes, "When I was on LSD, I was spinning around saying, 'I'm a Christmas tree. I'm a Christmas tree.'" Carol Craig writes, LSD in school where the rays to a leaf map had flowing rivers and volcanoes erupting. Now that was wild. Laughing my butt off on acid. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to have these memories. That was the most unique and wonderful Christmas song I think I've ever heard. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are going to do in about 1 hour.
But yeah, check out that, add that song to your Christmas playlists and, see how people react at the Christmas party.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have it
It's called
recorded
The
somewhere?
Psychedelic Christmas Story.
Is it recorded on your website?
Yeah, we just released it. It just came out.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Well, Larissa Stowe was supposed to be coming and joining me because she's next. But she's somewhere in the house. Boy, we need somebody to share another psychedelic Christmas story. Well, I guess what we will do is we're going to kind of switch, and I'm going to go to DeArah. And DeArah, welcome back to Global Peace Tribe, your family. Lots of people. I see Sylvia and Jeffrey and people jumping up and down to see you. So welcome back.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's my family, Family, because when friends get close like we are, we become family. So friends become family. It's so good to be here. This is so joyful. I was looking at the agenda going, oh, I'm glad I'm not following that conversation. Oh, it's wonderful to be here. I had let Scott know I was launching a project called Cosmic Kids Corner, and he asked if I wanted to come on tonight and share, and I said yes. And it's been 9 months since I've been on the show, so a gestation period. I was out enjoying some live music this summer and balancing my online presence with in-person. I also worked on expanding my educational credentials, getting some of my licensing reciprocated in other states. And, like we're talking about, having right brain mystical experiences, one of the things that I'm up to with my mission and purpose, like Sylvie was pointing to, is bringing spirituality into education. And I feel like it's so important for whole person education, whole child education, that we make sure we discuss the spiritual nature of the human being inside our schools. So that's been my mission for over 30 years. And I have 2 resumes. I have my traditional left brain academic resume with all my ABC letters behind my name, that mainly I did for my own perseverance and credibility, because like, who am I to talk about, spirituality and cosmic nature inside the schools? And even saying that right now, you wouldn't know it, but I'm a little bit shy, and I do get confronted sometimes having a conversation as deep and blunt as this, following the conversation that we just had. This is one of the notes that I wrote down, is about, journeying, going into that journey space, but using energy without any substance, because it's so possible to travel without anything. Not that I don't enjoy substances like sugar and caffeine at times and things like that, but I know when I'm working with clients, I love to do meditation and bring us into a deep state just with whatever we have, which is mainly our precious bodies. And so I thought maybe I would do that as part of my time, especially since we're kind of ahead of schedule. If that's okay, Scott, just lead us in a little brief meditation type thing.
That sounds lovely, DeArah.
All right. And then I have a slide to show, talking about Cosmic Kids Corner, because what it is creating a conversation for us to have with the children in the way that we get to have it with each other as adults. So I'll talk more specifically about what that is in a minute. And this taps right in. I know last week I've been able to watch on Facebook a lot, and Anna Paris was on the show recently, and she's been talking about energy and this type of thing in the schools. So that made me so happy to see that, because we need to. It's part of the shift into the new world, the new reality, as the old ways are shifting and sometimes crumbling. We are the ones building the new reality. So just taking a minute, and is it okay if I do 4 minutes, maybe 5? Is that too?
That's perfect, DeArah. That's perfect.
And I recorded a meditation on Sunday night. I really missed our Sunday night meditations, so I actually recorded a 47-minute meditation with our beloved Sylvia in mind and our Sunday night group. So if anyone wants that, I can send it to you in Dropbox. But for now, just allowing yourself to drop in wherever you are. If you're in the Zoom room, if you're listening or watching on Facebook in the moment or at another time. And I see Larissa's joining us too, so yay, welcome. So just allowing yourself to drop in and just feel the quietness coming. Just feel that sense of peace in whatever way is right for you. Even if you're in the midst of movement or noise, it's amazing how we can have multiple states of consciousness occurring at the same time. And whether you do this with eyes open or closed, just allow yourself to continue to drop in, deepening, opening, following your breath in and out. And just allowing your body to relax, whether you're standing or sitting or lying down. And not to worry, because always we can recalibrate whatever state of consciousness we need at any moment. And your mind and your body know exactly what that means. And while you're allowing yourself to continue to drop into this beautiful space, feel that speck of joy, that deep well of peace and joy that resides within you. Perfect. And know that this is the joy that we came in with. This is our divine essence, that joyous nature. Whether we allow anyone to see it, whether we even allow ourselves to see it, it's that divine child within you now. And just allowing that to continue, allowing that to expand. And again, notice how your mind can be calibrating anything going on while your higher consciousness allows you to drop deeper in. And feeling that love space that you have for yourself as well. A concept that we are choosing to expand. A concept that its time has come to teach and model. That self-love, that love of the divine self. And just allowing this peace to continue inside you, around you. Everything else falls away. Knowing that you can bring yourself back to this place anytime that you choose. And just noticing anything other than this peace and letting that fall away. And you may even have had a glimpse of some memory or some fond feeling from the past when you've been at peace, when that divine child has been expressed and exuberant. Maybe it was that adult playing with ease and freedom, like on a journey. And just allowing that joy to expand, allowing your breath to expand, allowing yourself to hold on to this beautiful place that you've accessed, where we also begin to return to a consciousness of being together, knowing that you can return to this place anytime that you choose, this beautiful place, this essence that is you. And taking all the time that you need right now just to anchor in this beautiful time that you've had with yourself, and just blessing yourself. And only when you're ready, after you return to yourself, then to return to each other, knowing that we bring forth even greater love than when we began. And if I were Scott, I might say something like, this would be a great time for Omashar to lead us in a song. And then I'll come back.
Well, that is exactly what's going to happen. But I do want to, oh, hang on. I want to keep us both up here. But that was beautiful. And I know you're a little shy. And it's beautiful meditation. And it's beautiful to have you back with us. We've missed you. And some comments coming in. Carol Craig wrote something, I think it's really a good one. You know, you brought up how challenging it can be when we are being our true, authentic self and we aren't fully received or maybe even ridiculed. And Carol writes, I speak about my cosmic consciousness and meditation all the time. And when it isn't well received, I know I'm just not in the right place. I've moved on many times from schools when that's happened and have never regretted it. I've never left with hard feelings. It just wasn't vibrating at the correct frequency. So I moved my reality elsewhere. And then she's sending a special thanks to you, DeArah, from one teacher to another. So, all right, well, stick around. We will come back to you. And yes, I'll take your cue. She wants another Omashar song. I think we can make that happen. Hey, brother.
Yes, we can make it happen. And well done, DeArah. I know how much the smaller self can get in the way of allowing your true self to come through. And especially what I've noticed is I never tell people about my vault experiences with things like which are like mushrooms and stuff, because I don't want to be judged. And also to have to follow on after a conversation like that, I know the split in the mind that happens because there's a part of me that doesn't want to be associated from myself with that which I just said. However, it's a part of my truth, and so whatever, it's what it is. It's all good. And yes, here's a little song for us called "Hypnotized," because that's what those things does, isn't it? That's what those things do. Oh, hang on a minute. All right. One more thing. When Scott highlights you, it tells you to turn your microphone on. Don't, because I have to turn it off again. Thank you. now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. A moment. Love is reaching through the hearts of me and you. Our world is waking up to our different points of view. 'Cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-ba, ba-da-da-da, so shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark. Let's show each other what we can do, and let our light shine right on through, and let the good of humanity stay. Let the dross simply fade away, and let the mother return to us all, so that love can have her way. 'Cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark. Let's show each other what we can do, and let our love shine right on through. 'Cause light is reaching through the hearts of me and you. Our world is waking up to our different points of view. Now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Let the good of humanity stay. Let the dross simply fade away, and let the mother return to us all, so that love can have her way. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da, so shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark.
Let's all twinkle, beloved Omashar.
Woo!
I love that song. And I love watching all of you moving and grooving and
It's a trip.
dancing, right?
So beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And Larissa, lovely to see you, sweetheart, in your brand spanking new Shiloh Ranch. Awesome.
Yes, so good to see you, Omashar, and you sounded so beautiful.
Thank you. I
So
feel you
many-
in what you're creating there. It's so powerful. You're a powerful being, and you and your husband, I believe, have created a magical gem. And it was lovely to see your daughter earlier, who I think is in charge of Dance Patrol. Is that right? Oh, sorry, Dance Patrol, not Dance Patrol. Dance Patrol.
Yeah, she got us all dancing. She's been creating dance parties.
Oh, how beautiful. In a perfect space. All right. See you in a bit. Bye.
Thank you, Amashar. I love that song. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, so, he actually did a perfect segue, and I thought what would be kind of interesting to talk about is the process of having a vision and then making it come true. And you had this vision. And I'd love for you to just kind of share with people maybe the steps in your process, including how you've overcome some of the very big challenges. I mean, it's one thing to have the vision of, hey, let's build a community, let's have land with water and people, but to really make that happen. And you've done that. So share with our audience a little bit about your process.
Well, I've wanted this forever, like as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a real small child, my parents took me to a place called Ananda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Northern California.
Don't tell the audience.
Okay, yes. I know, you're here.
I'm here, I know. I love looking at
My parents took me to this place called Ananda, and it is a very beautiful, conscious community, spiritual community. I think I was like probably like honestly like around 7 years old or so. And it affected me so deeply to see these people living in a heart-centered way with one another and conscious with the land. So it made a really big impression on me. And from that time forward, I really saw creating something like this. And it was a dream that I talked about all the time, to the point, where I think people started looking at me with those kind of like, okay, Larissa, that sounds amazing. But you could see where I felt that people were like, okay, you've been talking about this for a long time, and how's this going to happen? And I felt that too, to a certain degree, like, how am I going to do this? Because it seems like such a huge dream, almost beyond what I could see. How can we manifest this? Because it's going to take a lot of money, it's going to take community. But in my heart, I really believed that it was possible. In fact, I had this feeling that it was already done. And I've heard other people talk about that, but I had a strong feeling that it already existed. And it was during the pandemic, actually, when I started doing daily riding the dragon, which is my moving meditation. And when I ride the dragon, a part of that is my heart opens so much. And I feel so much bliss moving through my whole body, bringing in that light and bringing that love into the cells of my body. That it's then that I begin to visualize, and I would visualize seeing this land and seeing a room just like this, and feeling myself sitting on this beautiful, expansive land with community, people with open hearts, and the desire of a community to work together and to create together. And I just kept feeling that and seeing it, and every day bringing that into my practice and feeling it as if it was done. And after doing that and talking to people, I think it's really important, when we do share, even if people are like, okay, you've been talking about that for a long time, but to be really committed to it and sharing with people in my life, it held me more accountable also to making that happen. So the combination, and then my clients, that I had been working with for a long time. I had been sharing with them, and some of them became so enrolled in the idea that they wanted to take part and wanted to help with it as well. So it was this energy that just started rolling. And then with that, it's like magic started to open up, like real magic, synchronicities, just incredible synchronicities. With, like, as an example, the band was booked to do the Serenity Festival in New Mexico. And my band was like, well, we're not going to just go all the way to New Mexico and do this festival. Can't we do like some shows along the way? So I, like, last minute made some calls and put together a show in Sedona. So here we had this, going out to New Mexico, and then on the way back, stopping off in Sedona. And right before this happened, Doug, my husband, happened to look on Zillow, and we were looking like consistently, I would say. And he looked on Zillow and he saw this property, and he sent it to me. And when he sent me the property, I was just like blown away by this huge room, by the land itself. And there were pictures of Yogananda in the background. And that was really it was like, okay, this feels homey to me. And the amazing thing is when we saw this property, I knew immediately this was the land. I mean, I'm like, that's it. This is the property. And I think it was from the signs, of seeing what they had decorated. It was like this knowing. And then, because we were booked for Serenity Festival and Sedona, we were able to stop the day after our Sedona show and come and see the property.
Wow.
And another synchronicity was that when we came to see the property, this wonderful monk named Ananda shows up. Like, he comes to greet me and he's just like, namaste. And I found out that this is the first time Ananda ever showed the property. The realtor that was showing this property wasn't available. So he asked Hari to show us the property. So this beautiful heart-centered monk takes us on a tour of the entire property. And it was just so touching, and he showed us all these spiritual little nooks and crannies. And he took me to the Shakti temple on the property with Durga. And that, again, it was so powerful, and Durga overlooks the creek. So I'm like, okay, it's just one thing after another. And we had no idea how we were going to come up with the money. And again, there was just these synchronicities that came in. We were able to, between our community and this property in Denver that we'd bought for not that much, suddenly was worth something. So it's like everything it came together. But I believe that it came together because my spiritual practice. I really do. I mean, being in that vibrational field.
Yep. I'm going to come in for a moment too. It's interesting because Sylvie was our first speaker, and she's here promoting. She's a filmmaker. She did the Love Thy Nature film, and she's doing a Revitalize Your Passion program. Same thing. It's like visioning, and this is a powerful time to do visioning. And I really want to anchor in. Michael Beckwith always said, if you want to create something, you've got to imagine it first and feel it. And that's what you did. You imagined it and you brought it into being.
And felt it, like you're saying.
You got to feel, what does it feel like in my body for this to have happened?
Yeah, it was like it had happened.
It had already happened. And that's what Michael's words are. It already has happened in consciousness. When you have that, it's already happened in consciousness. I see questions are coming in, so I'm going to go check the chat box and see what's happening here. Oh my, there's a few. Larissa asks, or Dr. Laura asks, Larissa, how did you choose the people that you've magnetized to your community? Were there any people who you could not continue working with? How do you deal with that challenge? That's a
Wow.
good question.
Yeah, that's a lot of good questions. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't fully choose all the people and how it unfolded. One of the people here, Jen, she's been a client of mine for years, and I saw her in Ashland and we took this walk in August. So this is before I ever knew of the property. And I had asked Jen like what her dream was, like her ultimate dream and vision. And she shared that her dream was to make tiny houses.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, maybe we have like shared vision, right? I just had this feeling. And when we needed help building and doing work on Shiloh, I had a need for some more help here. So I asked our contractor at the time if he would be interested in having Jen come work here. And he said yes. So that's how Jen ended up here. And she's amazing, incredible. And then other people that are here on the property with us, Tony and Pamela, they came in through another friend. And that's a whole other story in itself. It's so synchronistic, it's unbelievable.
And they're all contributing. All the people who live here are, because she's still building, she's still landscaping and adding buildings and adding things. So most people here are contributing in a very significant way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're doing the 6 global agreements of the Weevolution. Like that's a really important piece. So like Dr. Laura, you asked if there's any people that we're not working with that are like, or are no longer here, and everybody is here. Now our first contractor, that's another story. He's not here. And there's vibrationally, it wasn't a vibrational match, and so, but he was perfect. He was a perfect gateway, to get us like standing at the gate, helping to open that gate in for us. But all of our people are still here. And I think a lot of that has to do with working with the 6 global agreements. And we do that on Wednesday nights and we share dinner together. And then we read the 6 global agreements and then we talk about them and we talk about like what came up for us that week. And if there were any of the agreements that we called forth or places where we had challenges. And that makes all the difference.
You'll recall that we've done, I think, a couple of shows now about her brilliant vision of the 6 global agreements. And I'll have her run through them in a moment. I do want to read some of the comments. People are enjoying Jasmine Bear in the background there. Charlotte writes, thank you for holding that vision for so long, Larissa. The community of Shiloh is flourishing under your nurturance and care.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte.
Stephen wants to know if you're building tiny houses here.
We're not building tiny houses, but we're building tiny offices. So, we're not allowed with the R1 zoning to actually build tiny houses on this property to live in. Yeah, it's still the R1 zoning. However, we can build as many offices as we want.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so come build your office in Cornville, and Shiloh is in Cornville, just outside Sedona. There's questions about the name Shiloh, how you came up with it, and if it's connected to Shiloh heating and air conditioning.
Okay, no, it's not.
I don't think so.
No, not to Shiloh heating and air conditioning. But Shiloh came from Joan and Bob Crozier, and they are the original people who built this sanctuary. and had over 100 and something acres that have been now like separated out. But they came up with the name Shiloh, and Shiloh means gift from God, and it means place of peace. And so I felt, and we all felt like Shiloh is such a beautiful name, and it honors Joan and Bob. And I love that. I love honoring the people that came before us, because it's a we space. We wouldn't have this if it weren't for them and their dreams. And
So Joan and Bob are who built it, and then they sold it to the ashram folks. And then, of course, now you are the third owner. Reverend Jeffrey, who actually lived on the farm, he was one of the founders of the farm, which is a very famous community, I believe in upstate New York, writes, "A beautiful new period will begin on earth. The world is waking up slowly, stretching from a deep sleep. A new heaven and a new earth are being born. Mankind has matured to move to a new dimension of living and expressing love. New humanity is being. Lovolution is the solution." And thank you, Jeffrey. I see Dr. Laura says, "I love sleeping in my office." And she wants to reach out to you. And she says, so the 6 global agreements are your blueprint, your charter. So tell us more about the 6 global agreements, what they are again, and how you utilize them here.
Yeah. The 6 global agreements, we as a community really honor them, because they're, as we all know, it's like when we have challenges with each other, when we get triggered with one another, if we don't have ways to navigate that, we can really slide back into like patterns that are very disempowering. So when I put the 6 global agreements together, and I like to say too, like you inspired me as well, like who you are, and what you bring to the party, is really powerful. And when we talk about me creating them, I was very inspired by the wisdom of the world and wisdom teachers as well. So, and it's like, what works?
Compassion communication works. It really does.
It absolutely does. And but for me, it's like also realizing that when we do our spiritual practice, when we have a consistent spiritual practice, and that could mean meditation, it can mean yoga, it can be forgiveness work, like some people are really into forgiveness work. It can be a mindfulness in our walking, those practices.
Tomorrow, so you've got a Sunday morning every Sunday?
Yeah. We have a sacred Sunday at Shiloh, where Dharmajan, who built the Shakti temple here on the land, he leads the 300 names of the Divine Mother, a chant with our community here. So we do that on Sundays, and that's really beautiful.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So number one, it's that acknowledgement of our spiritual practice. And when we do that together in community, it deepens and it brings us together that much more. It kind of blows my mind, how much it bonds us, going into those deeper waters together.
Can you repeat the essence of the 6 global agreements?
Yes, I can. Okay. So the essence of it is plugging into source daily, which I'm talking about, and leading with compassionate curiosity, and being courageously vulnerable, having radical self-acceptance, because we really need to be accepting of ourselves in order to be more empathic with others in life, respecting each other. And then my favorite one, playing together. Yes, playing together, which is really so important right now. Like we need to play.
I want to say I've been here for the last few days, and they live all of those. There's so much play going on inside this house. Her husband is a really funny guy.
Yeah.
He's really playful. And of course, your daughter is very playful and you're very playful. And it's true, there's just like this beautiful balance of play, spiritual awareness, but not in a we're spiritual kind of people, but in a very playful way, but
Yeah.
still honoring. And the vibe here is just beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
loving.
It's loving. It's
Yeah.
loving. And they have the beehive. You got to tell them about the beehive, because some of the people watching right now are going to be hopefully sleeping in the beehive.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I had my first retreat here 6 weeks ago with one of my peeps, and it was so fun. We have this room called the Beehive, and there are 4 bunk beds, and 2 of those bunk beds have full queen size mattresses, and then our other 2 bunk beds have twin. It was full in our Beehive. And we have other rooms too that sleep 2 people here and 2 people there. You know, we have some of those rooms, but the Beehive is really the place where we get to drop in with each other and play. And it ended up being like the cuddle puddle, you know, like where we were all like just hanging out and laughing and really enjoying each other a lot. And nobody wanted to go to sleep because it was so fun. I mean, we don't get to do that.
And you can feel the vibe. It's like being back at camp, you know, it's at a really cool camp, like the camp you always wanted to go to. You know, Camp Shiloh, for
Yes,
sure. Camp
absolutely.
Shiloh.
Very.
Very, very fun. So it's really beautiful here and very, very, very exciting. I had pulled up, I want to remind everybody about Shakti Love Warriors, and we've got that ready here somewhere. So tell people what's happening with Shakti Love Warriors these days.
Well, we're continuing to do some meditation. We're doing it about 3 times a week now, and people are still hopping in and have that support. And it's a place where people love to support one another. Yeah.
And you can find it on Facebook. Here it is on Facebook.
You can see our 3 meditations.
There we go. And if you just go to Facebook, which most people watching the show right now are watching on Facebook, and put in Larissa's Shakti Love Warriors group. All you have to do is write Larissa's Shakti, and by that time it comes up and you'll find it. And meditations at 11:11, and it's a great way to connect in I should invite all these people. There's Susan Blomquist, who's watching us right now. Susan, I'm inviting you. She's in the Zoom room with us. So and how about the band? Are you guys going to be playing in the spring? What's happening with your musical career?
Well, my band has to come here and be a part of the retreats right now, because this is where my focus is. So
there you go.
So, I mean, we will be doing music, but it'll be a lot of music here.
Good.
Yeah. Right now, it's all going into Shiloh.
She was talking about how, you know, what was the word she said? That Shiloh possessed you.
Well,
and you're the puppet of Shiloh.
Well, I say I'm a puppet of spirit, and right now it's like spirit is moving through Shiloh, so I feel like I'm like totally like being led and moved by Shiloh. This is my Shiloh birthing.
You know, I've always loved the analogy that we're the paintbrush and we surrender and allow the hand of God to guide the brush. And we experience reality. We're the ones, you know, experiencing. We're the brush on the canvas, but we allow the hand of God. And right now, the hand of God is guiding your brush as you create this beautiful canvas.
That is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Well, hopefully some of you are going to be here soon in March when we do this. And thank you, everybody. I'll see if there's any last questions, and then we're going to go to Mystical Joyride. Chat box. Here it is. Seems to have disappeared. There we go. Susan's putting up pictures. Dr. Laura says, sounds fabulous. Is there a website for Shiloh? And the dates for the March retreat are going to be, what we're looking at is March 17th is when we'll start. We'll have to figure out how many days based on what people can afford and her availability. But I'm thinking to do it right after the Sedona Ascension Retreat. The Sedona Ascension Retreat is March 13 to 16. That's a Thursday to Sunday. And Kristen Hoffman is coming out for that. Bashar will be here, Ellen Steinfeld, a lot of our Global Peace Drivers will be here for that. So then they can just hopefully stay on for the retreat here at Shiloh. So put down March 13 to 16 for the Sedona Ascension Retreat, and then March 17 on for our Global Peace Tribe. And we're going to collaborate with Tangela, who came here and had dinner with us last night. So it'll be a combination Global Peace Tribe and Soul Search collaborating with Shiloh. That's the plan. We're still working it out, but it's moving forward.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I look forward to seeing those of you who feel called to come out.
Is there a website for Shiloh yet?
There is a website.
Oh.
However,
Before I go there.
I need to update it just a titch before I put that out.
So we're not showing it tonight.
I won't show it tonight.
Okay.
I'll next week.
Next week.
Okay.
All right. Well, to digest all that we've heard, we're going to go back to our beloved friends, Mystical Joyride.
Yes, yes.
Way up here we soar, we fly, we don't give fucks about who we are. I'm in you and you and me, let's let our ego die. I'm the dust and you're the smoke, we're both the air, the fire and earth. All light and energy, swim through stars and galaxies, and all together we're just learning how to love. Way up here we soar, we fly, we don't give fucks about who we are. I'm in you and me, let's let our ego die. Let your ego die. Oh, let your ego die. Oh, let your ego die. Ooh, ooh, let your ego die. Oh, let your ego die. Go ahead and let your ego die. Oh, let your ego die. Oh, one. Oh, one. Oh,
Oh, that was just awesome. Are we like, can we twinkle now? When you shushed us, I wasn't quite sure when we could come back. Oh,
We're all one with this cough.
you guys are so fantastic. You really are. We love the third eye glasses, by the way, are a big hit.
I just figured this out the other day. So you know how when you look, when you're like making eye contact with someone and you want to be like, oh, I see you, I see you. With the third eye, you do 3 fingers and you go, oh.
There you go. I
My
love
third eye sees your third eye.
I like that. That's good.
And Joel, your guitar was beautiful. Oh my God. Just that guitar really like, whew, wow.
And your voice is so beautiful.
Thank you. I want to hear your music.
Larissa's amazing. She's amazing.
I believe you.
Yeah, what is your project?
My who asked? Oh, me? Who's
Yeah,
my
what's your project?
Larissa Larissa Stowe and Shakti Tribe.
And shocking, what was that?
It is shocking. It's Shakti.
Oh,
Shakti
Shakti.
Tribe.
Nice. Cool.
And back in the day, they did Bhakti Fest every year, and a lot of the main festivals. Definitely, Larissa I've known her for many, many years, and she's always been like one of the top bands at the kind of spiritually oriented festivals.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my life for a long time.
And then
until
the pandemic.
The pandemic.
And then the pandemic.
And Shiloh. Yeah.
Yeah, and now Shiloh is the project. Hey, I want to remind everybody that you can get all things Mystical Joyride at the website, which is mysticaljoyride.com. And they got some great stuff for us there. Look at that psychedelic.
That is so fun.
Their first song, Larissa, was a psychedelic Christmas song.
Wow.
And it got us all sharing
Fun.
our psychedelic Christmas stories. Her other home is in Long Beach, and you're going to be at the Love Long Beach Festival. Right.
Yeah. Also, I don't think it's on our website, but we're going to be performing this year at the Joshua Tree Music Festival. So
Nice.
I'm super stoked on that.
Good job.
May. So mark y'all calendars for that one as well. Also, unofficially, we've been talking with Hollywood at Soul Play. We'll very likely be at Soul Play again this year. So
Fabulous. And I met you guys at Soul Play. So
yeah.
Thank goodness.
And if you're on the East Coast, there's a lady who made a new festival. It's going to be their second year coming up in North Carolina, actually modeled very much after Soul Play. Her name is Kai Bayless, and she started a new, like an East Coast, North Carolina type Soul Play called Bliss Boogie. So if anybody's out in North Carolina area, Bliss Boogie is the new festival.
All right, that's good to know about. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much for blessing us.
Thank you. We love you too.
With your fun, with your magic, and let's all support Mystical Joyride because you guys rock.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for having us. Sorry about the coughs. I've been sick this week and it's got me.
Well, it was a great juxtaposition as you're going like this, and then saw you suppressing a cough. I was like, oh, bro, oh man.
I was like, she's got to say the line, but she's not saying it. Okay, I got to still do it.
You did great. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Love you.
Well, tonight's going to be a short show. I haven't had dinner yet. I've got the soup sitting here, which I need to warm up. Larissa soup. So it's going to be a shorter show tonight, but I want to bring Sylvie back on and DeArah back on and see if there are any, and Omashar back on. And what the heck, we'll bring Mystical Joyride back on for a minute. Where's DeArah? Where are you, DeArah? Oh my gosh, did she just, there she is. So see if there's any questions. I'm going to read a couple comments. Dr. Laura, I do understand. I don't travel anywhere that I can't bring my dog. So I get it. Same thing for me. Charlotte writes, love your joyrides. Such a huge magical musical toolbox you guys have. Oh, and let me remind about Cosmic Kids. So there's a flyer that we've got here, which I'm going to open up. And tell us a little bit more, like how can people participate in Cosmic Kids or make that happen?
Okay. Yeah, I've got the info on the flyer and also underneath, just like the Joyride created a cosmic corner of music, I'm creating Cosmic Kids Corner. It's a place where kids can come and talk about all things cosmic and galactic, just like we've got the freedom to do that. So I'm launching that on Saturday, the 21st of December from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. And basically, I want parents and kids all there at the same time. I want the parents listening in, and I want the kids each on their own laptop or computer or phone so that they have autonomy. So we're gonna meet in my Zoom room like we're meeting tonight, only it's gonna be the kids talking to each other. I've got kids in Italy that talk to Archangel Michael, that that see, that hear, their clairvoyance, clairsentience. I've got kids in Texas and Minnesota, California. So this is kind of the global peace tribe for children, where the kids can come, as I said, and share with each other so they know they're not alone. So go to cosmickidscorner.com, email me, and I'll send you my Zoom link. And yeah, so that's that.
Beautiful. Shoshana writes, I love this vision. I love you, Joy DeArah. I'm embarking on a writing and music project with some special songwriting. And she goes into how there's kind of a similar collaboration of magical children curriculum. So beautiful. And she's going to come and be with you on December 21st. Carol says, I know some kids who could talk about this topic for an hour just by themselves. What a nice offering. And Susan Bloomquist writes, it may be that the youth have more connection to the new ways of living. Absolutely. So thank you for doing that. And a reminder that we all want to participate in what Sylvie is providing. I'm certainly looking forward to that. And I'm going to bring that up one more time. Whoops, that's meeting registration. Where's Sylvie's thing? I'll pull that up in a second.
While I look it up, I'll just say a few words that I really hope that you're able to join us. Again, it's a free event, and it's really exciting to be able to have, as a community, a sense that we're all on purpose, especially at the beginning of the new year. So I'd be delighted to have all of you participate, or many of you participate. And yeah, it's going to be really fun.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here tonight. On Wednesday night, our next Awakening World is going to be a Relation Flicks night. So we've got Steve Rowland and some of his Relation Flicks teachers. So bring your relationship issues, how to handle the holidays. That's what we'll be talking about on Wednesday night. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the weekend. And remember, we can make any moment sacred. Tomorrow's a sacred Sunday by choosing to see the divinity in all. And I see the divinity in all of you. I'm going to go to gallery view one last time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope to see you all on Wednesday night, and have a beautiful sacred Sunday tomorrow. Good night, everybody.